So a new dog walker video, and today we will discuss a new developed dog breed. These are my Catchdog terriers. These are not the dogs we will discuss today. Today we will discuss the Presa Cordillerano Chileno. So a dog breed developed in the Patagonia of Chile by Ariel Balamonde, but together with his sons. And that specific purpose, they wanted to have a dog that could deal with rough game and rough environment. So the rough terrain, rough climate, or hot climate, and also wild game, in particular hawks, swines. So in its essence, they used the Corso, which was formerly a big game hunter. So like a running type of mastiff, like the Alano Espanol. Alano is called the Alans, but added bloodhound for smell, Dogo Argentino, which is a big big game hunter in Argentina, developed especially for hawks, but also able to deal with the climate there. And American Staffordshire Terrier, Fila Brasileira. Fila also has a good smell. It's not so much a big game hunter. American Staffordshire Terrier is sometimes used as a big game hunter, but in particular if they are not having access to American Pit Bull Terrier, which is like the working variety. The only benefit of the American Staffordshire Terrier is that they are less dog aggressive. So this might be a reason why they chose American Staffordshire Terrier over American Pit Bull Terrier, whereas Dogo Argentino, which is already an established big game hunter breed, they breed in two types of dogs, namely Greyhound to make them faster, and American Pit Bull Terrier to give them more grit. These little dogs that you see here are also used sometimes on very big game, including hawks, but normally they're used as specialists underground against fox and badger. So that gives you some indication here. And bloodhound, to increase the smelling capacity. I think that was also already added to the development of the Dogo Argentino, and they are not being bred into it anymore. So perhaps they wanted to have a dog that has more smelling capacity than the current Dogo Argentino has to do that. And Corso is no longer a working breed, especially not for game hunting. So it might be that they want a different coat color. In other words, they try to recreate a Dogo Argentino without having the Dogo Argentino as the primary source. Also, if you look at the dogs, they are closer to a Corso. But if you would breed a Corso to a Dogo Argentino, I think you would have quite a similar build and looks. So the exterior, which oftentimes gives you a good indication of the true type that are used, and the amount of dogs being used resembles that of a Corso crossed with Dogo Argentino, and tipping a little bit more to the Corso side. So for example, the shorter muzzle indicates that. I like this type of dog exteriorly. I think it's also a big improvement on the existing Corso. Nice nature as well. So that's the good thing. I don't think they have improved upon the Dogo Argentino as such, but I should put this into perspective, and I will do so now. So in theory, the Dogo Argentino was already creating the perfect wild game hunter and has been perfected. The working strains, they are still being kept by outcrossing to Greyhounds and American Pit Bull Terrier. So the gameness and speed was still lacking, and they improve upon that by continuous outcrossing, like for example a percentage of 25%, 12.5% American Pit Bull Terrier, 12.5% Greyhound. If you see what they did in England by simple cross of Greyhound And American Pit Terrier called the Bull Grey, they get a dog that might come very close to resembling the Dogo Argentino in its catching abilities, and is far faster. So that could be an indication that there's something to improve. The Dogo Argentino, they also wanted to have a white coat to reflect more the heat, which could be beneficial also in Chile. And these dogs were also bred to protect the properties which a Bull Grey can, but it's not being bred to, and also both parent breeds are not proper guard dogs. They are tenacious, at least the American Pit Terrier is, and the ground is fast and big, but that's not the purpose. What they did wrong in the creation of the Dogo Argentino is they used their Cordoba fighting dog, which was a great starting point, a little bit like the Presa Canario, or in this case the Corso. But the Corso was more of a running type of dog, but was capable of also fighting and guarding. Yes, like the Cordoba fighting dog is. Also a blend of different Mastiff types already, and fighting dogs, Bull Terrier breeds, Bulldogs, etc. And they cross that with white Bull Terrier to get to the white colors. They also use a lot of white dogs, like white Bernese type of dog, and I think they use the white spotted Great Dane, etc. But they use pedigree dogs, so dogs that were examples of a pedigree breed, so no outcrosses, not particular in the working strains, also in the Petador Terriers. Sometimes outcross, if another dog can contribute from another breed, they will be added to make the dog as good as possible for the specific purpose. But he went with pedigree type of dogs. And what they did wrong, they used dogs that one shows, so had the exaggerated look and feel, but not the character, and not longer the build. So also the Bull Terrier that they used was deaf, which introduced already a problem. It's still a problem in the current Dogo Argentino. So he was a veterinarian himself, the creator of the Dogo Argentino, and he thought at that time that pedigree dogs, show winners, were the best examples of the breed. And after a while he found out that it was not the case. And I think if he was already a vivid hunter, also other hunters would have pointed this out, that crosses are oftentimes better, and especially working types of dogs are not the same as show type of dogs winners. So that gives you some example. For example, you see this dog pulling here, this little bitch. There's a working dog determination. A little bit different than a lazy show dog, so to say. Back to the topic. So there are some things to be improved upon. Also, he used Bull Terrier, which was a weaker, also already show derived type of dog, where there are Irish Staffordshire Bull Terriers or even white pit bulls that he could have chosen, which were far superior to reach that goal. And even if he used another color, he could get the color by infusion of the other breeds that he used. So there were some faults made, and then he tried to deal with it and make it better for the future, and he did. And still the fanciers of the Dogo Argentino are trying to improve them, and especially doing that by adding greyhounds and American Pit Terriers. So in effect they're adding Bull Greys to their current lineage, and oftentimes they only choose one of the parent breeds, so American Pit Terrier or greyhounds, but there might be as good of it to just infuse some Bull Grey and get both speed and grit in at the same time. So that's one. And the other thing is, Corso has been trampled upon. It has been re-established already because it was almost in extinction, and they used Mastino Napolitano, American Pit Bull Terrier blood, but in particular American Staffordshire Terrier blood, which they are now reinfusing, so to say. Fila Brasileiro could be seen as a better alternative. So a bigger, heavier, mastiff type of dogs, which already has bloodhound in it, and still more guarding character. But Mastino Napolitano and which already has infused Cane Corso is comparable to the Fila Presidio, but a lot milder. And the Mastino Napolitano is already a fierce protector on average, and there might be some, but it's also extremely exaggerated. I'm going all directions, but if you look at Mastino Napolitano of when it still was a working dog, it looks like the Cane Corso does today. So that gives you an example of what they did. So when they used Mastino Napolitano, it was already a lot more exaggerated and heavier, but they introduced it other breeds to make it better, healthier and more mobile. But the same as they are doing now with the Lano Espanol, they're breeding in boxer blood a lot to give them a shorter muzzle and more intimidating look, so to say, but they are losing aerobic capacity, and the boxer is not a healthy dog to begin with. Far better to introduce more American Pit Bull Terrier blood, for example, or the bull lurchers, for example the bull greys. We have far better route to go to add athletic capacity and health and tenacity. But anyway, that's what's happening there. So it's already a recreated breed. It's not longer the war dog of the Yessi, and they are now making a variety that is more hunter orientated, with better smell and better catching abilities. But I think with bull greys or with Dogo Argentinos you would have a better dog to begin with. That being said, it's far better than seeing more Cane Corsos or other dogs that are not capable anymore, but still have the looks, and I applaud to make the dogs better by crossing them and not staying within one direction. It's also a project still in development, but that's what I would tell them. Consider some bull greys to add to your dogs, and steer away from the short-nosed type of dogs that the Cane Corso and also now the Alano Espanol, which was a more elegant, more capable Cane Corso, are going into the direction. So in essence, the Presa Cordillerano Chileno is a Cane Corso Dogo Argentino type of cross with some infusion of bloodhound, Amstaff and Fila Brasileiro. Have a great day.